Welcome into the In the Money podcast for Travers Day at Saratoga. I'm Tom Leach, along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Wagering Development. Stakes-laden card up at the Spa, headlined by the Grade 1 Travers, and with a lot of the big names sitting this one out. It is a full field, the proverbial great betting race there, and some great opportunities on Saturday if you can pick the right spot to be right. And we're going to take a look at the late pick four, but we'll start by just going through the four stakes races that comprise the late pick four. And if you play pick fives, there's a Grade 1, the H. Allen Jerkins, in the seventh race, where Chancelot figures to be a big favorite. If you go there, you can just kind of take your pick four play and extend it to him if you like and try to play the pick five. But Jim will start in the Grade 2 Boston Spa. Fillies and Mares 3 and up, going a mile and a 16th. And amazingly, there are some Chad Brown trained horses in here. Where did you land?
Yeah, there are, but none of them are outstanding, I don't think. I think the one that intrigues me a little bit is Masha on the outside, the 9-horse, who's only going to run one time here, called a good turf course and won allowance race, so Chad doesn't take long to step her up into graded stakes company. But when I went to this race the first time, I circled 7 horses, and one of the horses I left out is 2 for 2 at Saratoga. So that was Conquest Hard Candy, and I went back and looked at her, and I thought, you know, she's getting better. She loves this racetrack. I can't throw her out either. So when I get to pick 4, guess what I'm going to do? So I will give you my hint right now. I'm going to go all. 55 would be my pick here if you made me pick a Chad Brown horse. Just because she's just always around the winning circle. I mean, go back in her last 10 races, and she's gotten beat by a half length in one race, and she's won 5 of those, 2 seconds or 3 seconds and a third. So she's always at the wire. Going to give a good effort of herself. 5 for 10 at the distance. So 55 would be my win pick here for Chad. Secret Message for Graham Motion. Got a big shot with 2 back-to-back 95 buyers. Only got beat by 5 lengths by Sister Charlie in the Diana. And so, of course, Sister Charlie went on and won the Beverly D last week. Rushing Fall was in that race. There's no Rushing Fall or Sister Charlie here. So Secret Message has a big shot. Conquest Hard Candy was the 6 horse that I noted that was 2 for 2 at Saratoga. Starship Jubilee you can make a case for. Scottish Jig for Bill Mott. So wide open betting race. 3 to 1 is the morning line favorite. This may be one of those where 4 to 1 is the favorite. So Chad Brown would be my pick here with 55. Secret Message would be my exacta play.
I took the other Chad Brown you mentioned, Masha, Group 2 placed in France. I liked, and then second start off the layoff, and so. But it's not a strong opinion. I like Starship Jubilee a little bit, getting Lescano and coming in from Woodbine. Secret Message for Graham Motion. Indian Blessing intrigued me a little bit. And then 55 was the other one I wrote down. So I'm going to leave one of those out when we get to the pick 4 and be a little unsettled about it, but try to keep the ticket affordable. This is a tough spot to start at this late pick 4 because there's far from any clear-cut standout in here sounds like to either one of us. So Masha is the win pick, though, for me. In the 9th, it's the Grade 1 Personal Ensign, the first of 3 straight Grade 1s to close out this pick 4. It's the Fillies and Mares going a mile and an 1/8, and I ended up going to Elate because she's 2 wins, 2 seconds, and 5 starts at a mile and an 1/8, and Midnight Bisou has not done as well at a mile and an 1/8. But she sure looks like she is in lifetime best form here as a 4-year-old, and she is in top form. Wildcat, if you want to go deeper, could jump up certainly for Chad Brown. She got good last year, but I'm going to lean to Elate off that very impressive win on Stephen Foster night at Churchill Downs. How about you?
Yeah, I'm right with you. A couple of reasons for Elate. The mile and an 1/8 is a big deal. 4 times out of 5 in the money at the distance, and Midnight Bisou is much, much better at a mile and 16th. Elate also has a win in 2 seconds at Saratoga. And if you go back and look at those 3 races, this race last year, she lost by a neck to Abel Tasman. Looked like she had it down the stretch, just couldn't get there, but had a 105 buyer, which is her lifetime best. And then she won the Alabama here by 5.5. So at Saratoga and CCA Oaks, she lost by a head to Abel Tasman. So Abel Tasman beat her twice by a head and a neck, and so she's that far away from being 3 for 3 at Saratoga. I'm going to stand hard on a late in the pick 4. Midnight Bisou, certainly nothing to be ashamed of with 5 straight wins, but I just think everything points to a late here. And I'm going to, again, use her in the pick 4 very strongly.
Move to the 10th race. They go on the turf at 1.5 miles in the Grade 1 Sword Dancer. And this one's kind of like the other turf race we were talking about. I think there's far from any standout in here. Who did you land on?
Yeah, I could toss the inside horses. I think they're all. I don't think this morning line is correct on Noble Thought, though. I can't believe 30-1 for Irad Ortiz, but probably is a notch below these. I like Channel Cat here. I like that last race coming out of the 10 hole in the Bowling Green and got to the lead and just went on with it at 1 mile and 3/8. I don't think he'll have any trouble stretching this to 1.5 miles. But I can make a case for all the outside horses: Channel Maker, Annals of Time, Yal Primo, who only lost by half a length to Channel Cat, and may like that extra distance, that 1.5 miles, because he certainly raced there in Chile at 1.5 miles. So can't make much separation there. Even Pillar Mountain at 10-1 for Johnny Velasquez. So Channel Cat would be my pick here. Annals of Time for Chad Brown has a big shot, and so does Channel Maker.
Ended up going to Primo for Chad Brown. Second start for that barn. 102 buyer in the first start off the layoff. I thought Sadler's Joy, the old guy, had a big shot in here. He's run some big ones at Saratoga, especially when there's been a little give in the ground, and there should be. They've had a lot of rain up there this week. Channel Maker, Channel Cat, going to use both of those. Annals of Time, another Chad Brown, I'm going to throw in as well. So I'm going to go 5 deep when we get to the pick 4, but Primo is going to be the lukewarm win pick for me. Gets us to the Grade 1 Travers, 1.25 miles for these 3-year-olds, and you got a couple coming out of the Curland. It was the day before the Jim Dandy. You got the top 2 in the Jim Dandy coming back in there. I am going to lean to the Curland being the more important prep of those two. I'm going to take Endorsed. Looking for a little bit of a price here in a race that I think lacks any standout. And this horse ran his best buyer figure last time, and his first time around 2 turns was wide all the way. So with a better trip and second time going longer and has the pedigree to like this, I think he can improve enough to win this. And Rosario, I think, is a really good fit on this horse, and I think he's going to be a nice price. So that's part of the intrigue. I think my play is probably going to be a 4-horse exacta box of Endorsed, the 2 Farish horses, Code of Honor and Highest Honors, who I think have big shots. And then the 4th one I might throw Looking at Bikinis in, because that one faded in the Curland, but the speed will be dangerous, and I'm not sure that inside was the best place to be that day where Looking at Bikinis was. Laughing Fox, I think, is intriguing. Ought to be maybe in his wheelhouse at 1.25 miles. Got to jump up on the buyer scale, but I think he's worth looking at a price. Tacitus, got to throw certainly in there as well. I don't like the post position for Tax, so I'm going to leave him out as I'm trying to pare down this ticket. But Tacitus, got to use. But I'm going to not lean as heavily. I'm going to go against him with some of these others that are going to be much better prices. How about you?
I think it's a wide open race, that's for sure. I'm not leaving Tax out, because leaving him out last time cost me a $2,000 pick 4, if I remember correctly.
Ouch.
At 4-1, just didn't like him in the Jim Dandy, but I'm not going to hold that against him. I'm going to go with Code of Honor here. I think Shug McGahee took this horse out of the Derby, and obviously had a few issues, and didn't rush him back to the races. And when he brought him back, he didn't throw him at the Haskell. He didn't do the Jim Dandy. He did the Dwyer at 1 mile in Belmont. Really easy prep race. Got a 97 buyer, which matched what he got on the Derby. That was on July 6th. He comes back and works on August 4th, August 11th, and August 19th at Saratoga, and worked up a storm. 47-4 on August 4th, the first of 57th distance. 48-1, second of 62 at distance, August 11th, and then just let him breeze 49-1. I just think this horse is sitting on a huge race. And Shug McGahee is one of the best horsemen around, and I just think that the Derby run was very impressive. Could have won it with a little more luck, and I think he's going to step up big time here. I think Owendale has a shot out of that Preakness run, and then came back and won the Ohio Derby. They let him off a couple months. Giroux for Brad Cox is always dangerous. I think the 12-horse Tax, I don't like the post position either, but I'm going to use him. And I'm going to use Tacitus and Mucho Gusto for Bob Baffert. Haskell was one of maximum security, but Mucho Gusto ran a big race there. So I'm going to go 5 deep when we get to the pick 4.
Yeah, I think I'm leaving out Mucho Gusto with an uneasy feeling because I think he has the highest last race buyer in the field at 100 out of the Haskell. So this is tough to pare down the ticket. I went 4 in the first leg, 3, 5, 8, 9, left out 55. But you can add her and increase the ticket if you want. I'm going to single it late. Then I'm going to go 4, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the Sword Dancer, all the ones I mentioned, and then 2, 3, 4, 6, 9, 11, 6 in the Travers, and I'm not confident I've got it, but that's a $60 ticket for 50 cents if I single Elate, and I would much rather have her and Midnight Bisou, and you can do that, double the ticket if you want to, but structuring the ticket's going to be perhaps a key in here because these are deep fields with the races, as we've kind of explained here, that we don't see standouts. So this is going to be quite a challenge. What's your pick 4 ticket look like?
Well, my pick 4 ticket is, since I wanted to use 7 out of 9 in the first race, I'm just going to go ahead and take them all. So I'm going to do all. I am also singling Elate in the second leg, and Midnight Bisou could blow up both our tickets. But so with the 4 in the second leg, I'm going to use 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the Sword Dancer, Channel Cat. Let me get to my 5 horse here. Color Mountain, Ya Primo, Annals of Time, and Channel Maker. I'm not using Sadler's Joy. Sadler's Joy hasn't won since last March, or March of 2018. So I'm just going to say he's going to get close, but I've lost a lot of money on him. I'm not using him here. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 there. And then in the Travers, I'm taking 1, 2, 6, 7, 12. Code of Honor is my top pick there. Owendale, Tacitus, Mucho Gusto, and Tax would be my 5. So that ticket is expensive. It's $112.50, but it's got all coverage in the first leg. It's
quite a challenge. Great card, though, on Saturday. The other stakes races that we didn't even include in here because they weren't part of the late pick 4. But it's a fun day, and there's money to be made if you can be right a couple of times at least on Saturday up at Saratoga. Some nice big fields there. So best of luck with your wagers, and we'll be back next week for the Labor Day weekend edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.